All right, welcome everyone to this episode of Your Music, Your Story. Today we're talking with Andy Holmes? Andrew?
Andrew, not Andy. They,
Okay.
I'll never, the only Andy in the SoCal scene is from Odd Robot, and I'm not taking his space.
All right, fair enough. So Andrew Holmes then.
Yeah.
Welcome. So go ahead and introduce you, because you say you play in a couple bands, or just one or two more?
Right. So I play in two. I play rhythm guitar, and I'm the lead singer of the band Loser Parade, and I also play rhythm guitar for a bedroom pop band called Mom's Home.
What is bedroom pop? That sounds...
Okay. So basically, lo-fi pop, like very DIY pop. I'm trying to think of like a famous band that's similar. But yeah, anyway, Mom's Home is that they're based out in LA. We're playing at the Whiskey Go-Go.
Oh, hey, that's
in
pretty
February.
good. So do you guys, to play out there, do you have to sell tickets? I've heard you do at some of those places.
So yes, for that one, there's pre-sale. Mom's Home has a pretty good online / Spotify following, but it's her first shows in general, and so we're just kind of trying to get out there as much as possible.
So that's the name of the group, Mom's Home.
Mom's Home, yeah.
Okay.
And then, so those are the two music projects I'm in. I'm a music manager and booker through Blank Space Booking, and that's about it. I might be doing some solo stuff in the next couple months, but there's nothing set in stone yet. So
you would still be doing the two bands plus the solo stuff?
Yeah, because I'm not busy enough on top of, my
bands
own
and
bands.
Promotions.
Yeah, I figured I don't need to sleep ever, so it's fine.
That's overrated.
Yeah.
You're young. You look young at least.
I'm going to be 30 this year, and I realize to some people that sounds young, and I fully understand that, but, it's starting to hurt when I sleep incorrectly or I stand up too quickly. And so I just want to say I don't think I qualify as young anymore. We played a show the other day in early January in Van Nuys, and
oh wow,
we were the oldest people there by far. It was crazy. We walk in and it was like all 13 to 16, 17-year-olds all just like packed out in this venue, like the new wave of emo pop punk kids. And we got invited, and I was like, we felt old.
Awkward.
Right. How I know is we play a live cover of Everything Is All Right by Motion City Soundtrack.
Okay.
And usually when we play people around our age, people really like that cover. We started playing it and nobody knew it.
Is this an original?
Yeah, they had no idea what it was.
Oh, getting old. That's the reason why I stopped playing with the retcons. It's like, man, I want to go to bed by 10. I don't know if I want to be out late.
I really hope, I know I mentioned them already once, I really hope Odd Robot never stops playing, because as long as they're still playing in the local scene, then we will not be the oldest people around. And I love them. They're genuinely my favorite in SoCal. I assume you know them or have played with them if you played in Cover Monsters, but...
Yeah, well, we never played with Odd Robot, so we did play with Andy when he was in the Maxis.
Right.
So
I forget he was in the Maxis.
And I hit him up just to see if they joined the podcast. I was still waiting to hear back from them.
Yeah, that happens. I text them, hey, do you want to play this show? And then they don't, I have to remind him, and he goes, oh shit. He's a great guy, a little forgetful.
I mean, he's busy. He's all smart with a degree and all that.
Well, yeah,
I think he's still working too.
Yeah, he's a a genuine scientist.
Yeah.
I told him this last time we played a show, because we played a show at Packing House in Riverside with Odd Robot, and he's sitting there drinking, and I looked at him and I said, Andy, you've got to be the dumbest, smartest man I've ever met. And he goes, what do you mean? I'm like, you literally are a scientist. You have like a degree. I imagine your IQ is very high, but you're here like chugging a beer, playing pop punk, and like falling on your ass sometimes. And I'm just like, it's the parallel of man with him, and I love him.
So let's talk about your Loser Parade. So the newest three, like Granada, was it Sleep In?
Spacing In.
Spacing In. Okay. Memories of Yesterday?
Yep.
Okay. They definitely, to me, it reminded me some of like the old '90s kind of Blind Melon. Not quite that kind of mellow stuff like Weezer.
Yeah,
Is that kind of what you're? I mean, I don't want to say that's what you're going for, but that's what it reminded me of. Kind of stuff.
Weezer is a band we get compared to a lot. We're kind of in the pool of Weezer. I grew up being a huge Green Day fan.
Okay.
Really inspired by them. So we get Weezer, Green Day, and Bowling for Soup are the three we get compared to most often.
I mean, I could see that. Okay.
And with those records, I think they all sound much better. We started going to a new mix and master person. The first album we did was with a buddy, very DIY.
Been there, and I've been that buddy.
Yeah, exactly. And they're good songs, but the last release we put out was Granada. That was, I think, maybe 4 or 5 months ago at this point. We have new music coming soon. But yeah, it's definitely a little bit more mellow. Definitely in the Weezer bag, I'll say.
So, as a question, would you mind if we inserted some of these in there?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
All right. So is there any kind of a story behind Granada? Was it just like lyrically, I guess?
Why don't you walk out of that door so you can learn oh so much more? Never meant to fall for you like this. I hope it's me that you miss. No, it's the guy inside your head. You wanted him, not me instead. But it's my hope someday that you will come back. Is that too much to ask? Think of all the things you know and all the places you may go. And you may call me an optimist. I hope it's me that you miss. No, it's the guy inside your head. You wanted him, not me instead. But it's my hope someday that you will come back. Is that too much to ask? She won't look back, she can't look back. Won't look back, she's never coming back. Won't look back, she can't look back. Won't look back, she's never coming back. 'Cause it's the guy inside your head. You wanted him, not me instead. But it's my hope someday that you will come back. Is that too much to ask? Is that too much to ask? Tell me, is that too much to ask? So lyrically, no. I will say most of the time with Loser Parade songs, they are not drawn on real experiences. There are exceptions. I kind of just write what I think sounds good. There are exceptions. With that song in particular, I was really inspired. I don't remember the song title at the moment, but by a band called the Smoking Popes.
What's that one song? Oh, now you're gonna make me look those dudes up.
I love the Smoking Popes.
I have one Smoking Pope song.
They're great, and I don't remember the song, but I remember I was stuck in writer's block, and I went on Ultimate Guitar. I found a random Smoking Pope song, and I just followed the same chord pattern. I'm like, I didn't listen to it for context. But I'm like, I'm gonna take these chords in this order, and I'm just gonna write to that.
Okay.
And that's how that song came
I
along.
Need You Around. That's my one Smoking Pope song.
That's a great song. You should get them on here.
I figured they were the big time.
I'll ask. They follow us on Twitter.
Really?
I can DM them for you if you like.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, connections.
Yeah, I remember because we got them. I think it was when Napster came around. I want to say. I think that's where that would just happen to be one of the songs that we downloaded. Was the Smoking Popes.
Such an original sound too.
Oh yeah,
the pop punk with the like Frank Sinatra vocals. It's great.
yeah. Oh, it's just awesome. So that was so it just kind of that's what inspired you. So it wasn't based off a Smoking Pope song. It was just something that inspired you, and that's where that came from, kind of a deal.
Right. I recently had gotten into them quite a lot. Maybe like a year or two ago, I was looking up this big list of like the top pop punk bands of all time, and they were on there.
And that's a rabbit hole.
Yeah, I know. They were on there, and I really was into their sound, and I sort of found myself writing like them anyways. People never compare us to them, but I would say we're fairly close.
So now that you mentioned that, I could see that. I could see some similarities.
Yeah, my buddies and I play games on like Discord and shit, and I'll play some Smoking Pope songs, and they'll be like, "Is that your new song?" And I'm like, "I wish,"
I wish I could be awesome like that.
Right. We have similar voices. We're like the different side of the same coin, I think. His is a little bit lower, more smooth. Mine is
A little higher.
higher, yeah. But still, I try to sing something like that. I really don't like the super over-exaggerated pop-punk vocal like a Blink-182 or something like that. I like Blink.
Yeah.
That's not me. You know what I mean?
Curiosity, what do you think of their new album?
New album?
Or I guess the new, at least
the new
Edging
song.
Yeah.
It sucks. Edging sucks.
Yeah. They lost me after the one with
Skiba?
Alkaline Trio. Matt, is it?
Yeah, Matt Skiba.
Is that what Skiba? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the only song that I thought was funny was "I Want to See Some Naked Dudes." That's why I built this pool. Like, other than that, the rest of the album's like, whatever.
It's funny because I think Skiba. Maybe this is a hot take. I think Skiba's a better singer than Tom DeLonge.
Oh yeah, I would agree with that.
He's not as good at writing hooks. I think like none of the stuff is as catchy, even though he's technically better.
Yeah, I think that definitely guitar and his riffs are a little bit, I don't want to say more complicated, but they're not like a basic. They're definitely more melodic. Tom's are just like, all right, everyone wants this one.
Yeah,
this is catchy.
It's not Blink, Alkaline Trio. The Alkaline Trio is a really good band. I never personally got super into them, but I can definitely see why they pulled from them.
Yeah.
Like technically good. So yeah, edging sucks though.
Yeah.
I have a lot of the new pop punk stuff that's been coming out from those older bands. Like Green Day included, my favorite band. Their last album was horrible.
Yeah, the newer stuff has lost me. A lot of it I don't really care much for.
Have you heard the new Fall Out Boy track?
Mm-mm.
It's really good.
Maybe they lost me off their last one too. My stepdaughter likes them, but I just
it's really good. If you like old school Fall Out Boy, you'll like it.
okay. So it's more along the genre,
Yeah,
or their style, I guess.
it's more like I think the album's Infinity on High.
What's the blue one? That's the only. That just looks blue on the.
Oh, I think the blue one is like their first one or their second one. It's really good. You should take a listen.
We'll have to take a gander.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Let's see. Okay, Infinity. That's the one with the sheep. Yeah, their first one. What is it? Take this to your grave. That one's my favorite Fall Out Boy.
It's a great album.
Yeah.
To be fair, I like New Fall Out Boy. I feel like I like their entire soundscape. I think they kind of combine the rock elements with like radio pop better than most bands.
Like he's definitely good at his melodies and his vocals.
Oh, Patrick Stump?
Is that the bass player? I'm not sure. Or whichever one
the singer. Yeah, Patrick.
I mean, he's got some catchy tunes. I got to give him that. They got like catchy melodies and all that.
Oh yeah.
Got to hand him to that.
If you would have asked me 20 years ago which pop punk / emo band from the 2000s is still going to be huge and relevant in 2023, I wouldn't have said Fall Out Boy.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah, we took when stepdaughter turned I think it was 14. I don't know. My wife got her tickets, and we went down to the whatever in L.A. the outdoor one. I mean, they're good. I can't hate them. The drummer's boring to watch, but he's good. Very stiff, but I mean, he's good. He's good. You got to hand it to him.
I mean, there's a reason why they're millionaires, right?
Yeah, one day.
One day.
Then I don't have to go to work in the morning. Oh well. All right, so let's get let's get back. So who all's in Loser Parade? Who's in the band with you?
So Loser Parade consists of me on vocals and rhythm guitar. We have Miguel Gudino, who is on bass and does backing vocals. He's the only other original member left from Loser Parade. We have Aria Hurtado on lead guitar and also does backing vocals. She's also in another band called Hoity Toity.
I like the name.
Great name, great band. Then we have Tara. She's our drummer. She's also in Hoity Toity. Hoity Toity's kind of our sister band.
I guess you're like blended members there.
Yeah, well, we needed a lead player and they needed a drummer, so we.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and then we have Charlotte Avery on synth, who is the lead singer of Mom's Home.
Oh, that's a whole bunch of.
Yeah, Mom's Home. So Mom's Home is all the same members of Loser Parade, just shifted to different roles
And playing different instruments.
Not different instruments.
Okay.
Other like the only meaningful shift is instead of me doing main vocals, it's Charlotte doing the main vocals.
Okay, you're just doing backing.
I do backing, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, that's Loser Parade now. We started back in 2017. We started playing in 2018. Took a fairly decent break trying to find a new drummer after our original one left after I think 3 or 4 shows.
Oh, that's too bad.
It's okay.
It happens. It was for the better?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. It Nick was his name, Nick Van Dam. Amazingly talented drummer. But just wasn't feeling it as much. Like we were friends in college and he had always said he wanted to play music and he had never been in a band, but he didn't like once we actually got to it and started like doing shows and doing other things, he realized it wasn't for him.
Oh, so the idea was fun, but the actual, getting into it,
right.
He wasn't the biggest fan. Okay.
Playing, in his defense, we did play 2 shows at the Doll Hut when he was with us to about 3 people. So,
well, this sucks.
Yeah, exactly. So we went through 2018. We started playing maybe in the second half of 2018-ish with a new drummer named Helen. And then she left the band in early 2021.
So that was right. So how? Oh, well, sorry. Go ahead. We'll ask you this question later.
No, yeah, she left in 2021, as did our original lead player at the time, Adam. Adam, he moved to Nashville. So
like to go do music stuff there?
To go to his like forever house with his wife. He just they left Southern California to go.
Say Nashville's where it is, huh?
I audio listeners, I put my hands up. Yeah. I say audio listeners. I'm so used to. I'm a videographer as my day job.
Okay.
And so when I said audio listeners, I instinctively thought there was a camera around, like there's people going to be watching this.
just me and you.
Just you and me, buddy. So yeah, that's how we kind of got the current configuration of the members we have now, and a very brief history of the old members who we still have a good relationship with everybody there. I don't talk to Nick very much anymore. He's super busy.
So there wasn't so much falling out is why, or disagreements. Just hey, we're going this way, we're going this way, kind of a deal.
With
Still
him,
friends.
Yeah, with him, yeah, and then with Adam, he moved, and then Helen. So she had always wanted to play lead guitar, and so the idea was once Adam was moving, we would move her to lead guitar off of drums because she was a lead player in her other projects. And we would get a new drummer. It didn't work out. The parts weren't hitting super well. Maybe it's just the transition from doing one thing for so long and then moving over.
There's definitely a difference between just beating the pigskin and now you got to play guitar. That's
right.
That's a transition.
Right. That in between that and she got into a really bad car accident, and she didn't. There was a little while there where it didn't seem like it was physically hurting her to even like play guitar. And
that's too bad.
Yeah, she's better now. But at the time, we didn't know where it was, and so we kind of just thought it might be better to amicably split.
Okay.
So, but yeah, that's how we ended up where we are now. And I say this with zero offense to our past members. I think we are at the best version of us we ever have been.
Okay.
I think if you listen to the old tracks, it's very simple but catchy. If you've like listened to Granada or Spacing In, there's a lot more layers, a lot more moving parts within the songs themselves. Granada has in the bridge like a ukulele
Okay, I do
like
remember
breakdown section for no reason.
Because you can.
because our oh god, what's it? Mark McGrath, what's his band called?
Oh, Sugar Ray.
Sugar Ray, because our lead player listened to Sugar Ray on the way to the studio. That's why. That's why there's ukulele in that song.
That's what you call creativity, children. Oh, that's awesome. Hey, who cares, I guess.
When we go to the studio, Aria, she takes like 2.5 hours just to do her parts because there's so many guitar layers and shit. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, we just went the other day working on new music in our EP that's coming out this year. And hers was by far the longest, which is good. It sounded great, but she definitely has a super creative mind for it, and I think it's improved our music a lot. So, sitting here all alone, looking at my phone. Remember all the times with you before the dark unknown. I know that things with me weren't all that great. Walking down the avenue, staring at the signs, spacing out and spacing in, trying to turn back time. I know that things with me weren't all that great. Now things are gone and it's time to move on. Try to turn the page, but it filled me with rage. Every time I see your face. Whoa, when I catch myself thinking of you now, remember all the times that I could have bowed out. I know that things with me weren't all that great. Spacing out and spacing in, all the signs were there. Like a pawn in the woods, it was more than I could bear. I know that things with me weren't all that great. Now things are gone and it's time to move on. Try to turn the page, but it fills me with rage. Every time I see your face. Whoa,
So just out of curiosity, I mean, I'll be honest, I'm not quite catching on to the whole singles thing. When, just releasing singles.
Right.
I'm just still stuck in no, you got to do an album. You got to do 10 songs. So I'm still trying to figure that one out. So when you did Granada, so now you say you went to did you go to actual studio or you actually had a professional mix it and master it?
We went to a professional studio person's house.
Okay.
So kind of the middle ground.
Fair enough.
Someone who really knows what they're doing, but we were still in like a garage.
Okay. So you weren't, we're at $80 an hour, whatever.
No. We've gotten really good rates for our stuff. And it's been great working. We just, this last song, and the rest of the EP we're going to be recording. We're going to be recording with Ryan from a band called the Cold Weather Kids.
Okay.
And he was the drummer for Matt something, some ska band from Chicago.
Okay.
I don't know. Anyway,
You
really
can look it up.
Yeah, I will.
Curiosity. Because my assumption is okay, if you want to release singles, that's understandable. People have short attention spans, but you can't
Right.
play shows by releasing singles. So do you write, you've got your show's worth of songs, and out of those, okay, we're going to do this one first because this one we like more or is more popular. Like, how does that work? Or you record them all at the same time and maybe just do them in one at a time release, or how's that work?
So we typically only record our stuff to release it.
Okay.
So it's not like we're sitting on a bunch. We're going to be for the first time since our EP came out, but the idea of releasing singles is basically just for the highest chances of Spotify plays and playlist placements, because when you release an album or an EP, when you're filling out all the information on Spotify and for all of like the distribution, you can only pick one song from the album for them to consider for playlists.
Okay.
And so if you're releasing a single every 2 months, which is what the quote unquote industry says is what you're supposed to do, that gives you enough time to promote the single, like on social media. TikTok is huge. I'm an old man in that respect. I
just joined Instagram.
I doom scroll TikTok. I'll scroll it, but I have a really hard time making my brain say, okay, you have to post a TikTok every single day for your music to be successful.
Dang it.
I know. So you take those 8 weeks, you take 4 weeks to promote it using socials, 2 weeks after it's out to basically celebrate the release, 2 weeks to prepare for the next one. And the reason why you do that is specifically for algorithms and Spotify.
So that's how you're
playlists.
I don't want to say gaming the system, but this is how the system works. This is what we need to work in to make things.
That's how you're
go.
supposed to do it, right? Okay. If you notice, we haven't released a song in 4 months, but
you're slipping.
Yeah, well, it's hard because we also want to release music that we're proud of. If we really wanted to, I think we could
Just
shit out
crank 'em
music, but it's not something that we want to. Like the next song we're going to be releasing is called Breaking Myself, and we wrote that back in 2019. Granted,
okay.
like it might have been out sooner if it wasn't for the pandemic and things.
Okay, well, sorry, go ahead.
No, but like we're just getting to that now, and there are songs that we've started writing a couple months ago. I guess there's kind of a backlog happening just because of the pandemic.
So how did the pandemic affect you guys as a band? Because I heard it was just rough.
So it's hard to say. In some ways, in December of 2019, it was our biggest month as a band in terms of performances and opportunities. We won. There's a band. Do you know Bayside?
Sounds familiar, but I couldn't.
They're another Warped Tour band. They're fairly big. They were going on this tour, and they had this whole like a Battle of the Bands contest.
Okay.
And we won that contest, and so we got to open for them at Chain Reaction in Anaheim.
Okay, nice.
Got paid.
Was that fun?
It was great. It was a sold out show.
Nice.
But in that same month, we also opened for Drake Bell, who, if you're familiar, do you know the show Drake and Josh?
Oh, that dude?
Yeah, that dude.
I didn't know he was playing.
He did. He still is, but we opened for him. We opened for a pop artist called Katie Tunstall, who she did a song called Black Horse and a Cherry Tree, Suddenly I See. Anyway, big opportunities all in 1 month, and we had offers to play with like Drake again, and we were working towards we were getting booked more often than we ever had been up until that point because of these opportunities. People saw we we won this Battle of the Bands thing. People were DMing us, asking us to come play in Northern California for the first time, Arizona for the first time,
You're like,
Vegas.
sweet.
Right. And then when the pandemic hit, it all kind of went away. Because right after the pandemic hit, that's right around when our lead guitar player left and our drummer had her accident. So it was like halted progress just because of life, pandemic.
Yeah.
And then even more so after because we were in search of new members. So we basically went like 2 years and played one show.
Yeah, you guys were up on a high and then...
Yeah, essentially. We've played some big shows since then. We are going to go back to Arizona, or not back. We're going to Arizona for the first time in April as a part of the Mesa Music Festival, which I'm super excited for.
So when you guys go to that, are you driving just to play that and you come back, or are you going to play multiple times, or what? How does that work?
Right now, we only have the one show confirmed for the festival. If we can play another one while we're there, we're planning on it. But as it stands right now, we're probably just going to drive out, play, and then if we can find somewhere to crash, do that, and then come back. But if not, we'll just drive out there and back. We've done it before in Vegas. We've driven out to Vegas to play a show and drove back in the same day.
That's rough.
Oh yeah, it fucking sucked.
Judas.
For $75 and some beer tickets, let's go.
All right, fair enough.
I know. I know you said it's been a while since you've played, but $75 and beer tickets are still the going rate for a local band.
Oh man, that's funny. That's crazy. I mean, hey, can't knock it. You do gotta do what you gotta do.
Yep.
That's what I remember talking with Dave. They talked about punk rock bowling out there in Vegas. I always thought that would be fun.
Oh yeah.
We never made it out there. I think he plays out there with the Maxies a couple times, but
sure,
we never did.
Yeah, it would be a ton of fun. This is gonna be our first festival. It's not my own house show festival I put on. Part of the I guess advantage of running my own booking agency and having to book 16 bands is I can slip my own in there. No one
knows the wiser.
No one will notice. Other than when people notice. I was talking with a venue not that long ago, and they mentioned, I mentioned I was in a band, and I didn't say which band. I'm like, Loser Parade, right? I'm like, how the fuck do you know?
Bastard.
I know.
Stop Googling me, dude.
My lead guitar player says, this is not a secret. That's you. I'm like, oh, all right, well.
Ah, crap.
Like, that booking agency sure does book Loser Parade a lot. I wonder.
Is there a connection or something? So let's talk about that. So how did you get started, or what made you want to start a booking thing?
So in summer of 2021, me and Aria from my band and this gentleman named Buddy from the band Versus, we wanted to put on a backyard show with all local bands to give everyone kind of a spotlight, I guess, and a return back to the Inland Empire scene from the pandemic.
Okay.
And that turned into like a 5-band bill into me wanting to book it from noon to 10.
Oh, wow. Just literally in a backyard somewhere.
Yeah, literally. There's like 2 stages, one in front of a garage and one to the left on grass. And 30 minutes a band is playing, and while they're playing, another band is loading in right there. It's great. Ton of fun. And they've all been pretty successful, pretty good turnouts. I think we had like 200 people show up to the first one. And
nice.
Even since, you always get a boom the first time you do something, but even then there's been at least like 125 people per event. So that I love doing that, and I wanted to think of an idea, just a name, to put it behind, because I don't know. I notice in a lot of like local flyers, it'll say blank presents this, blank presents that, and so I just came up with the name Blank Space because
blank something and
right. It's like the idea. If you have an empty slot or if you have something you need to get filled, a blank space call me. Now I'll get a band for you.
It's clever.
Yeah. So that's how that got started. We still do that twice a year, once in December, once in once in July.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I know. It's great. Winter break was the last one we just did.
I guess that's true. People are going to be here, especially college town kids and all that.
It's a great time. We just had I mentioned you off the air. We had Stack Like Pancakes come out and play. They were on tour from Minneapolis. Convinced them to come all the way out there to come play a backyard in Highland.
So, like, they literally came just from there to play this, or like it was happened to be in their tour route?
Happened to be on their tour route.
Okay.
That's how I started managing them. Is that they told me they're in Minneapolis, so it wouldn't work. And I was like, well, how about I just book you guys a tour? And I did it for free.
By the way.
Right, I did it for free. And so I routed them out to California and back, and so they could come play our little backyard festival.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Hell
Shoot,
no.
yeah.
It's great.
Oh, nice. So your next one's coming up in June? Or July-ish or something like
July-ish, I believe. There's a chance we don't do the summer one this year, but I know for sure we're going to do the winter one. I haven't talked to the other people involved in it yet, so.
So do you already have an idea of which bands you want to show up, or is it you're always going for new ones, or, okay, we like these guys, we're going to select, or is it how does that work?
So there are a lot of bands who DM our Instagram page wanting to come play. So there's a good selection from there. I would say the only band for sure that's a lock is probably Hoity Toity. Our sister band. They have a good following locally. They've headlined all of one of them except this last one.
Nice.
I would say they're probably the only one that's a like for sure going to be playing. Sometimes we've had bands play multiple times. Every other year is a local band who's played every time because people love them.
Who's that?
They're a pop punk band from I think technically Pomona. Amazingly talented guys.
All right.
So
you still do it from 12 to 10, like it's an all day afternoon thing, or that depends?
Yes, it's still 12 to 10.
So exhausting.
I genuinely, like, the next day I couldn't fucking move after standing for 10 hours in a backyard and performing twice.
Oh, God, that's right, because you have two bands?
Yeah, so that show, the festival, was Mom's Home very first live show. And the Loser Parade played as well.
I need a nap.
Well, think of it, the drummer, Loser Parade, Mom's Home, and Hoity Toity are all the same person, so she had to play 3 times.
Oh, dear.
I know.
That's crazy.
That's what you get when there's only 3 drummers in the entire of Southern California, so.
They are hard to come by, that's for sure.
And even harder to come by ones that are really good.
Yeah.
You know, Tara, she has a master's in music education. She is so fucking smart and great with rhythm and a really good writer. And beyond that, just a really good person. Like, there's a reason why multiple bands have wanted her to fill in or play with them, and I don't blame them. She's amazing.
So, maybe I'll have to have her on. So is she, like, she just does drumming on the side? Is she like a teacher, or she got it in mastering and drumming?
She's an educator.
Okay.
I won't go too into specifics just because I don't,
Yeah.
not my
enough.
story. 2, I don't know how much like is super public.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's an educator, and then
Okay.
I found her on a band mix, which is like,
What's that?
imagine like a dating website for musicians, but it's not actually dating. It's all like, oh, my band is seeking a drummer, or it's like a bunch of, musicians saying, hey, we're seeking this within this far in this style.
Okay. Yeah, it's got like the Craigslist for musicians, basically.
That's a better way of putting it. Craigslist for musicians. And she was on there. She didn't even remember she was on there. She had like left it so long ago. And I DM'd her on Instagram from the Loser Parade account. And she was up for it. And she's been in and around ever since.
Totally awesome.
Yeah.
Totally awesome. So now so you talk about managing who is it? Pancakes?
So right now I manage 3 bands. I have a meeting on Saturday, hopefully to sign a 4th. So I manage Stack Like Pancakes, ska band from originally from Baltimore, now in Minneapolis. I manage Mom's Home because
Fair enough.
I'm not counting Lose It Parade. I do as weird as it sounds, even though I'm in Mom's Home, I don't see that as my band. Like I'm playing in with a friend and I'm helping her out.
Okay.
I can't imagine I'm going to be the rhythm player forever. Maybe I will be, but I manage Mom's Home. And then I manage a small pop punk band called Hellrose and from Los Angeles.
Okay.
I just really like their music.
So, how did you come across? I mean, that sounds, you got bands here in the Inland Empire, then a ska band out in Boston or Cincinnati. I mean, that's
Baltimore.
Or Baltimore. Okay. I mean, there's a huge distance between those two. So how'd that come about?
Well, like I said, I wanted them to come play my house show festival. And when I DM'd them, all of their location information said they were from Pancake Land.
That's kind of like Max season from Greenland.
Right, exactly. So I'm like, well, where's Pancake Land? Are you actually in Southern California? And when they weren't, that's how I booked them on tour. And about halfway through booking, I approached Kellen, he's their singer, and asked him how he would feel about me managing the band, because I think I did a good job for their tour and their upcoming shows they're doing. And he was open to it, and that's how I have them under the label. I'm hoping to add some other bands that aren't from Southern California. I have a few in mind that I would like to add, but you never know.
Still in that same genre, or are they going to be a little bit different?
All of them are going to be. I think Mom's Home is going to be the exception, being
Okay.
A pop band. I think all of them are going to be pop punk or like rock adjacent, ska, in that field. I'm not looking to represent like any hip hop artists or jazz artists, country artists.
Okay.
Insert other genres here.
Don't want no opera singers?
No, mostly just because I don't know what the fuck to do with them. Like,
well, you're here.
Right. Like if I was offered a really talented jazz band, like, go play a jazz club. Like, I don't
know, dude.
Right. Now I say that, if they're already successful for whatever reason, and these people made it and they just want to give me 10% of their earnings for some reason, like, fine. I'll go do that, but like I don't have the connections or know within the field without like using their own name. You know what I mean?
Like where all to go, where all to play, all those other places stuff.
Right. Like, so if I don't know why I keep saying jazz, but if a jazz band wanted to be on my label, like, there's so much more someone else could do for them than me. And that's my thing. All of the bands I manage, in the contract that I wrote up for them, I gave them at any time they can get out of the contract, just with a 30-day notice. Because at the end of the day, especially with the smaller bands like Hellrose or the band I'm meeting with on Saturday, they're called Temperamental. If they get offered a contract from like a big label, Fueled by Ramen, whatever, I don't want my contract to be the reason they can't sign with them. At the end of the day, I want them to grow.
That's good.
So
a lot of people don't see it that way. They're all greedy.
Well, they don't play in bands.
Fair enough.
They haven't played. I mean, I say that not knowing. Maybe the executives at Warner Brothers used to be in a band in college. I don't know.
I doubt it, but you never know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If someone's wanting to give you guys a band $2 million to go make a record, then why would I stop you?
That's good. Way to do that. Because a lot of them, sometimes they still get screwed, some of the little bands.
Nah.
So good for you. Good for you.
Absolutely not. I would rather take the loss, like, because in theory, I could keep them, and if there's interest, then that means they're on the rise. But, I also am not bank funding any of these bands.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not putting any money into doing that. So if someone else wants to, absolutely go do that. And then, maybe I could still just be their booking agent instead of their full manager, or however you want to put it.
So walk me through. So for example, okay, you've got a band out in Baltimore and you wanted to come through here. So what's the process of booking shows from there to here and back? I mean, do you know places along the way, or are you just trying to figure out how does that process work?
A lot of emails and cold calls.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, especially as someone who's just establishing themselves in this scene. Like, I have connections now, coming from Minneapolis out here and back. There are some venues that I feel like I have a pretty decent relationship with now that aren't in California.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just a lot of legwork, basically. A lot of, answering emails at any time of the day or night, as you saw right before I got in here.
So, like, for example, let's say you want to stop somewhere in Illinois.
Sure.
I don't even know what town.
Chicago. That was the third stop on this last tour.
So would you go, okay, you go to Google places to play in Chicago, good punk things.
Right. So there's a few. So you look at live music venues in Chicago. You look at the ones that are within a certain capacity. Like, I love Stack Like Pancakes, and they have a good draw, but they're not going to draw 1,000 people. That's just not them. They're more of the size of like 1 to 300, depending on location. And so you just set up an EPK, you set up links, social media links, Spotify. You email people that fit within this certain thing. Another good way is to go through local promoters. Go on Instagram, look up hashtags like DIY Music Chicago, Chicago music scene. You find bands you find those labels like the blank spaces, but of Chicago, that are putting on shows and also have the connections, and you reach out to them saying, hey, I have this national act that's coming through town. Do you want to help me book this? And you can put one of your bands on there.
Okay. Are people fairly easy to work with, typically?
So far.
All right. You haven't ran into any of those pains where you're just like, oh, dear.
No, and I won't say names, especially. There's one person in Southern California who is just the biggest pain in the ass.
That's too bad.
And I won't mention their name or who they book for. I'll tell you after we get done recording. Just the fucking worst. But other than that, no, everyone's been super sweet.
Nice.
Business oriented, but it's nice. You know what I mean? It's not like when they say no, they're saying, no, fuck you. They're just saying, oh, it's not going to work for us. I'm like,
that's good.
That's fine.
They at least have social interaction skills.
Right.
Not a complete douche.
Yeah. I mean, most people aren't, I think.
So let's just say now you signed another band, I don't know, Bob's whatever band.
Sure.
And they come in and say, okay, well, we want to do a tour, but we just want to go like to Washington. So is that up to them? And then you will book the shows, or do you say, hey, let's do a thing. I'll do, book a tour. Who wants to join? How does that work?
Sure. So let's say my band Hellrose wants to go up to Washington and back. My job would be just to book them shows along the way and try to get them some decent money. They let me know where they want to go and how long, and I try to make that happen. But when they're not on tours, I try to get them on to local shows or to open up for bigger bands locally. Hellrose, I was in talks. They almost opened for a band. I'm going to expose myself as not a real punk fan right now.
Do it.
I don't know TSOL.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Is it actually pronounced TSOL, or is it like
it's abbreviation?
What does it stand for?
I don't even know. I only have, I think, one of their albums, but that's what Google.
You're in
is
trouble
for.
too now.
Yeah.
Anyway, like I try to get them on one of their shows, or like Agent Orange or whatever.
True Sounds of Liberty.
True Sounds of Liberty.
There you go. From Long Beach, California. Started in 1978, man. I was 1 year old. Jeez.
I wasn't even
That's some crusters right there.
I wasn't a dirty thought yet. In 78. But yeah, they basically, my job is just to try to get them booked on things, and if they want to go somewhere, just give me a date range and see if it'll work. You know, easy peasy on that front. I don't do any of the I do very little social media advertising for them.
Okay.
And do that side of things.
So they handle that on their own.
Yeah.
Doing all that.
Yeah, I have enough projects of my own I'm not properly advertising for. So
that was my next question. It keeps you busy. Just so you're at 4 or you're at 3. You're gonna have 4 possibly.
I'm at 2. You mean
the managing bands?
Managing. Yeah, I'm at 3 right now. I'm looking to have 4. Hopefully, if the meeting goes well on Saturday, and then I have one more potential who are out in Philadelphia.
Man, that is so far. It's just so cool that here you are in Southern California. Now you got a band way out there.
Hopefully,
that just blows my mind.
They're a bigger band, and I'm hoping to work with them some more in the future. I booked them as they're going on for sure one date on a weekender with Stack Like Pancakes in May, which I can't announce yet publicly. But I'm hoping to get them under the Blank Space home sometime in the future.
Nice. So do you actively look for bands, or it's just you happen to hear about, hey, I like these guys, and then you hit them up?
I actively look for bands for like opening things, like opening gigs or whatever.
Okay.
Like if Stack Like Pancakes is going to play, they're going to be, well, I can't say. They played in Chicago on their last tour, and so I had to find some Chicago bands to open for them. And so I'm actively looking in that sense. But a band really needs to speak to me both musically and be good people. I don't want to work with douchebags.
Got to have a little bit of, not I don't want to say 100% business sense, but they at least got to have some sense.
Right.
Not just a bunch of jack-offs and don't know what they're doing.
Right. And I don't know, because I'm pretty picky with the people I want to work with consistently. I get DM'd probably 3-4 times a day asking to either play a Blank Space show or want to be on our label or ask about being on our label. And I want to work with who I want to work with, and I'm more than happy to help you book a show here or there. But, Blank Space as a label and a project, I want just what I consider the best.
Fair
Which is, Loser Parade's all about putting ourselves, we, like our on-stage shtick is we're very self-deprecating. We're losers, right? Which is why Loser Parade isn't signed to Blank Space.
Okay.
We're not good enough.
Okay, fair enough.
No.
Is that going to be in the future?
No, I don't think Loser Parade's ever going to be signed to Blank Space. We're going to play Blank Space shows. It'll be like the unwritten band on there. Because every time I book a Loser Parade show now, even if it wasn't through Blank Space, I'll just throw the Blank Space logo on our flyers.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's advertisement.
Right, exactly. If I'm booking the show anyways, just for us, I'm like, well, might as well.
Oh, that's fun. So on your backyard festival, do you plan on keeping it as a backyard festival? Are you trying to make it so one day it gets bigger? Maybe you'll move it into somewhere else, or just you're going to keep it at where it's at for a while?
It's tough. I want to move it in some ways. I would love to move it to the Orange Show in San Bernardino.
Where's that? Is that over by the airport?
Orange Show is a big event center. They I would love to move it there. But there's also something almost special about a backyard show. Like, you're not going to get that experience like if you go to a venue.
That's definitely the whole punk scene, that whole, I don't want to say underground, but not part of the big world
right
thing.
There, to me, if Blank Space continues to grow and we end up booking it, I think there's something really cool about seeing a big signed artist in a backyard, you know, in a much more intimate setting than you could get if you were to go see him at the, you know, Whiskey A Go Go or whatever.
Yeah. Well, those shows are more fun. 'Cause it seems like you get to know, even though you're not really talking with them, but just that the closeness definitely is a lot better. Like I know when we saw 311 in a Salt Lake amphitheater.
Sure.
I mean, they're like 4 inches tall. I mean, it's still cool to see, but and then my wife and I saw them out. I don't know where it's got somewhere down there in Anaheim. It's a lot smaller. And it was a lot cooler. So smaller ones are more fun.
I agree.
But
I agree.
I understand they got to pay bills.
Well, you know, even if you can just think of it this way, the bands want to do it because at minimum, if there's 16 bands there, it's a good opportunity just to talk shop with other bands. You know, it's a good, I can't think of the word right now. It's a good way to talk to other people in the scene. So,
well, thanks for joining me on this. That's the whole reason why I was doing this, because not playing with bands anymore. I mean, I talk with Dave, but I don't really talk with anyone in any bands anymore.
Yeah, man, it's been good.
The whole point was just to get to know more people.
Yeah, dude, it's been good. I still love playing music. I haven't, you know, Loser Parade was my first band. I didn't play any as a kid because I genuinely didn't think I was good enough to play in a band.
So you played before for a while,
just as a solo.
Okay.
Like I would just play acoustic guitar and at places like open mics and whatever. My first band was Loser Parade, and I love it. I love the music we put out. I'm really passionate about playing, but I'm also realistic. Like I tell the guys and people who have asked, I'm like, we're going to take it seriously, but none of us have aspirations about Loser Parade, you know, making it. Do I think there's a chance? Sure. But we're not, you know, it's
you don't got your head in the clouds.
Right. Exactly.
That's good. I played with one band. It's just, apparently they were, before I moved here, I guess maybe they were big. I don't know. But they're looking for a bass player. So I came in, I said, yeah, we'll fill in. And they wouldn't play a show. They kept harping on, we used to be doing this. We used to play all this and all this. And I'm like, man, we're really just some dudes from Moreno Valley, man. I mean, let's play some shows. Who cares? But they were stuck that, no, we have to do this. Lived in fantasy land, in my opinion.
Just play whatever, you know, as long as the venue is, you know, doesn't have any drama with it or whatever. Play whatever they offer you. Try to avoid pre-sale. Pre-sale fucking sucks.
That's one thing I did enjoy about playing with Dave. I think we only did it one time because there was a place off University. I think they tore the building down. I want to say that was the only time we did a pre-sale. I think that was like right off University. I remember it was on the right. I think that was the only time because Dave's like, I ain't doing that.
Loser Parade only does it if it's really worth it. Like, we're not going to do pre-sale to go play like a local band showcase.
Back to the grind.
It's stupid.
Yeah.
But, you know, like we did pre-sale last year to open for a band called Prince Daddy and the Hyena, who's great, by the way. Look them up. And amazing show. It was worth the effort to have to sell like 50 fucking tickets. Like, there was, even beyond us, it was like a really good, energetic crowd. And a lot of those people who came to go see P Daddy have come to see us at other shows.
Oh, nice.
So like it was worth it. And meeting them was great. But just got to be careful, selectful, because there's a lot of shady promoters who just want to book you at 1 a.m. on a Tuesday.
Just to get money.
Yeah.
Dang A-holes.
Yeah. Well, you know how it is.
It's life. All right, Andrew, thank you for joining me. We'll have to do it again. You can tell us all more about your, you know, all the bands you're going to pick up.
Yeah, man. You know, sounds good.
And all the party.
Yeah, had fun. Check out Loser Parade. Check out Mom's Home. New single called Breaking Myself coming out fairly soon.
Do you have a date on that one yet?
No, not yet. An EP coming out this year called Noodle Bomb. So
you have a single and an EP.
Yep.
Ooh.
Yep, both coming out this year. Check it out. check out Blank Space. Thank you for having me, and it was fun.
All right. Thank you, and have a good night.
Have a good night.